Very basic de-escalation training. So I've all given you out a piece of paper with a very basic line of text on the points of this. So de-escalation is all about, I'm going to remove my mask in case you need to see my face. So de-escalation is all about making sure that any sort of potential conflict can be removed. That any potential conflict does not happen, and it's about diffusing situations. This is important in basically every single moment that you are dealing with another person, to be honest, but very particularly in activist situations where you are talking to people who often might not share your views. It's also important because we also need to make sure that we are able to defuse situations to make sure the police are not necessary. If we are able to make sure that that someone who is potentially violent does not end up being battered by the police, then I think we've done a terrific job. So I'll go through these steps, and then a bit later we'll be using theatre of the oppressed style to act out a scene, and then after that scene has been acted out, we'll ask you what could have went better, and then potentially for you to step up and take one of the roles to show us how it should be done. Okay, so first off, someone's come to you and they seem very aggressive. Now that's immediately that you've got something happening there. You've got a fight or flight response in the back of your mind, and this is the first step. Calm yourself down before interacting. You are a high emotional state. You're more likely to inflame the situation if you stay that way. So take a deep breath, assess the situation, and intervene safely. Use a low, dull tone of voice, and do not get offensive. Do not get defensive, even if insults are directed at you. This is very difficult, I do appreciate it, but do whatever you can to do this. What we also recommend is also the buddy system. If you are too invested in a situation to feel too nervous to reach that necessary state, which is very understandable, that necessary state of calm, it's often a good idea to step back and allow someone else to take over for you, because ultimately we all have those moments where it's gonna be too much, it's gonna be triggering, it could be very highly hurtful to you, and ultimately having someone else there to have your back and make sure that you have someone to intervene if necessary, then you are a lot safer. Assess the area. What's the area like? Who is there with you? What objects are there in the area? Are you blocking anyone's path? This is something vital to providing good de-escalation. Never block someone's path. You don't want to feel trapped. If someone feels trapped, they are going to feel cornered. They are going to be more violent. It's just basic decency to make sure that they don't feel like they have no way out. Making sure they don't get that antagonized emotions, and allowing for those emotions to not escalate is vital. How close is that person to you? Do you want to take a step back? Probably yes. Look at what objects are in the area and whether you can divert this to a more safer route. Step into the side from a table, for example, so that you are able to talk about something else away from another point of interest where something could be pushed, something could be thrown. Then you also have to be cautious about whether you're in your personal space whilst doing that. Recognize the other person's body language. Are they roostering? So putting their chest out with fists behind their back. Are they clenching their jaw? Are their fists clenched? Are they no longer keeping eye contact or keeping more eye contact? Any change in that you should try and recognize. What's their tone? Is it higher pitched? Is it looking like they are? You can tell from that they're pushing out more. They might be more antagonized. This acts as a preventative in situations where you're working as an activist as well. So if you are leafleting, for example, if you have to go into a flat and you need to think about how to whether you are putting yourself into a situation where you do not have a means of escape. So if you are in a corridor, start from the furthest from the stairs and work your way out. This can also be seen from a side of a street with only one entrance. Go on one side, do one side, go around, then do the other. This means you have a better means of escape, and you are making sure that you are working in a way that you're not passing someone's house that could potentially become aggressive. So you ready? Hang on a second. So it's also appearing to look as non-threatening as possible. Try to appear calm and self-assured even if you don't feel it. Maintain some eye contact and try and keep at the same eye level. This is can be iffy at this point. So if you're working at someone who's in a position where you'll be looking down otherwise, like if someone's in a wheelchair, it's recommended don't fend. That's insulting. That's really insulting. There are natural ways to go around that. Find a chair. Don't. That's gonna piss someone off, you know. So these are de-escalated. I've used de-escalated situations where I just sat on the floor with someone in an electric wheelchair, and that seems successful. Ultimately, in whatever situation, I think it's use your best judgment and work from there. Seeing someone at eye level is helpful. And doing whatever you can to maintain that in the most respective way is vital. When possible, encourage the other person to sit. Not always possible, but there are ways you can sort of blend that in. So this seems very frustrating for you. There's a bench there. Do you want to sit with me and we'll chat this out? It seems like it would be better on a personal level if we talk that way, for example. So this is also not always going to be possible, but if you can, great. Don't be the one standing up if someone else is sitting. Don't be the person sitting if someone's standing up. It's just work around the other person. Try and maintain a neutral facial expression. Place your hands in front of your body so they can see them in a calm and relaxed position. Make a personal connection. Refer to someone by their name and allowing them to have yours. So, hi, I'm Ada. Oh, okay, so you are, oh great, well lovely to meet you, Greg. And that way you at least working with a name, there's a person that you can sort of more relate to the person there, and it's going to make things a lot easier for you. Listen and acknowledge their feelings. This is really important. Be empathetic. You don't have to agree with them, but understanding why they're in that position and what they're feeling is vital to come into a conclusion. Asking for clarification. How do you feel about blank? Paraphrase. So you think blank, we are blanking your community. Give open-ended questions. So how do you feel about blank in this regard? Show that you are willing to work with them or would like their view. Find ways to find that common ground and use that as part of your core message to find places where you agree on. It's very hard to remain angry at someone when you end up agreeing with them. Use that common ground to your advantage. Of course, we're hoping to more on this. Do you know about our campaign on blank? And lastly, if de-escalation isn't working, stop. Your safety is paramount. You are infinitely valuable, and you should never be putting yourself into a position of danger. Plan to have plan to have an escape if the situation becomes unavoidable and if you are unable to de-escalate. Okay, so now we are going to have two situations. Now, sorry, 1 second. Okay, so we have two situations. One is a domestic situation, and one is a situation between two activists. So we have James over here, and for the domestic situation, we have a parent and a child. James is the.
I am the child.
I would have asked him to bend down a little bit, but I don't know if that would have worked. With this, we're going to need two names, a name for myself and a name for James.
Richard.
Richard.
Richard. Yep.
Holly. Thank you. Okay, so Richard and Holly, we're going to just go for it and then go from there. Okay. How was school? Richard, how was school? I asked you a question.
It went fine. Leave me alone.
What?
I said, leave me alone.
What gives you the right to speak to me like that? Do you have any idea what I do for you?
I don't care.
Where is this coming from? I am your mother.
Leave me alone.
Do you think you can hide this from me? The school calls me. I know everything. You need to talk to me right now.
Leave me alone. I hate school and I hate you.
How dare you? You ungrateful little brat!
Get off me!
Go to your room and don't come back until you're ready to apologise.
I hate you. I hate you.
Okay. So,
Good.
Thank you very much. Okay, so obviously not a good situation there. So what did we notice from that?
That's what happens at my house. It very quickly went from him just coming home, everything being calm, and then escalating through the roof.
Definitely. I think that's a really nice, really valid point there.
You could see the power relationship.
Yeah.
Parent, power,
Yeah.
child has to obey.
So sort of the parent doesn't want to be disrespected, is it?
No, the parent was using their power to manipulate the situation.
That's really good. Wow.
To control the whole thing.
Yeah.
And when it wasn't happening, it was getting more aggressive. That's where the tension was building.
I guess you could say that maybe the child doesn't want to speak because he feels like there's the expectation of punishment.
Yeah.
Which is good.
That's really true. So it's coming at a very unequal footing already, and the child is expecting punishment and therefore is more resistant anyway. What else? What did we notice in regards to the child? What was the attitude?
I noticed the physical, like, getting smaller, whereas you were getting bigger in his face and, like, a bit more, like, physically on top of him almost as well.
That's really nice. I think that's really valid. I think it's a sense of that really reinforces that power relationship, where one person is the punisher and the other person is the punished. Any other points?
The child didn't want to speak right from the start, so the parent getting all up at the child for no reason was the child didn't want to speak, so it shouldn't have been made to try and give any information. I suppose you can't really force someone to speak. You've got to put some pretty where they feel comfortable
And the very worst thing you did was mention that you knew what was happening at school. Because you took what little power he had away from him.
That's really nice. That's a really nice observation. Yeah. So it's the fact that I, as Holly, do not care about the wishes of the child.
Or maybe just giving think of the next time it's going to do as well. Sort of just escalated.
That's fair. So,
Also, I mean, it's a self-serving situation where the parent is like, do you have any idea what to do for you? Well, it's not about you.
yeah.
I noticed the other thing as well, that you were the one that got physical. He didn't. So as a person that's in, you know, as a responsible adult, I guess, in that situation, should that have been your reaction?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Should I have ever touched
Yeah.
the in that way? You know, the
Yeah.
grabbing of the arm,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's something else. What was the sort of situation in terms of did the child ever have any way to get out? So it was that. So it was also. So you also cornered. That's really quite interesting. Okay, so we're going to do this again, but at any point, sorry. At any point, feel free to shout stop and take the role of either myself or Richard. It's really confusing that you put that name. Okay. So, let's start again. How was school? Richard, how was school? I asked you a question.
It went fine.
Stop.
Who's it going to be?
Who's going to be? Who would you like to be?
Holly.
Yep. The script is what's bad. You don't need to see what's bad.
So what have I just said? I just said how was school? Alright.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It was fine. Okay. What happened at school today?
Don't want to talk about it.
Would you like to say?
Someone's calling me.
Too young to have a moment.
What do you have?
Well, I can make you a cup of hot Ribena.
Can I have it up in my room?
Of course you can. Would you like some space?
Yeah.
Alright, can we talk later?
Can I give you an answer later?
Okay. I'll bring it back.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Keith. Okay, what happened there? What happened there?
It was my actual mum calling.
Sorry, Richard is busy.
I suppose sort of acknowledging the fact that it's clear that they're uncomfortable and they don't want to talk, so not pressuring it.
Yep. So you were very empathetic.
And the power balance was more equal.
Oh, definitely. And you seem to care more about what the other person thought. That's really true.
I tried to sort of like deflect from what happened at school. And did you want to like sort of talk about something different and maybe then?
Yeah, that was good.
Well, again,
I-
the option of talking later, like, basically,
Yeah. That's really awesome.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is like the fact that he's, you know, in control of how he feels, when he wants to feel, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And that's really vital to it as well, making sure that you are giving the person in the weakest power position the ability to influence this outcome, to work around it, to give to be in the safest possible way. Oh yeah, no worries. But yeah, no, that was a really brilliant one. Thank you so much. That's brilliant. Does anyone else want to have a go?
Also, I wanted to say about that as well. It says the whole guilt trip of if you have any idea what I do for you, she actually did something for him. So it wasn't necessary to like bring that up by showing the kind of the fact that if you provide someone with like here's a brief but not in a kind of like demanding way. Because we kind of, that person might be appreciative, and therefore that might shape things.
If you offer them something, they can offer you something in return.
Not necessarily in a reciprocatory tone, but in a way that, you know, if someone gives you something, it's very unlikely, it's very rare that you're going to put someone towards them. And so you kind of change that relationship in a way, I guess.
That's a really nice point. That's really quite powerful in the sense that you are taking on that responsibility. Hello there.
But can I take this from another angle?
Yeah.
What would happen if you carried on being aggressive? What would he have to do to try and calm the situation down from your point of
Would
view?
you like to try? Would we like to try? Would you like to try?
No, I'm no good at that.
Yeah.
Are you alright with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm James now.
Yep. How was school?
I don't want to talk about it.
How was school?
I really don't want to talk about it.
No,
Okay, please.
I know what happened.
I can't really discuss it right now. It's too sore.
You need to talk to me. I'm your mother.
I'm sure we can talk about it a bit later. I've just come back from school and I'm exhausted.
Fine. We'll talk about it later.
Thank you.
Okay?
I mean, I didn't know how much there I could. It's a tricky one there because, you know, de-escalation it's not one-sided. It's
That's right.
yeah.
But often it's the person who's on the receiving end who wants to de-escalate.
Yeah, because they're the ones who've got to gain from it.
Because they're the people that will lose if it doesn't.
Yeah.
And they're the people who will gain if they can.
That's a really very valid point. Like, honestly though, it was working though because you threw me off. I was like,
I suppose, you know, people
can't-
know what it's like to come back from a hard day's work and feeling knackered. And
Yeah.
maybe just giving someone a bit of space just creates a bunch of that.
that's a
So
very
you
point.
want finding the common ground.
And you also used a flat tone of voice in that as well. I can say on how I felt in the sense that I was unable to escalate much because you weren't giving me anything to escalate from. But you know, that's really nice. You raised your hand.
Yeah, I was just going to note as well that this scenario is an interesting one because not only is the person who is being aggressed upon a vulnerable person, but also it is the mother's space, it is the house, and I think this might be a case of if that aggression did continue, this may be a case of the final point, the leave point, because at the end of the day, you know, when you're staying in a house with someone, there's very few avenues to quote unquote escape a situation. So I'm not sure if the mother continued to be unreasonable, it might be a worthwhile decision just for the child to go.
Or just stay at a friend's for a while.
Or shut themselves in their room, just leave the scene.
That's really true. That's really true. So it is difficult, especially when I'm kind of already blocking you two for you to kind of get out. Oh yeah. But you know, it's really quite nice that there is power on both to try and de-escalate that situation. Although, admittedly, it really should come from the mother.
No, but realistically, in other situations, we go into a situation and someone takes offence at what we've done,
Yeah.
and they're the one that's trying to pressure us to change, and we've got to somehow change that, because in lots of situations you can end up getting arrested or end up being banned from somewhere
Yeah.
because that person's pushed you over the edge.
Exactly.
So actually not taking the bait and trying to push back a little bit is basically the only way forward.
Yeah, and that's really true. It's working around that, which is really vital. I'm going to go on to the other one. So this is an activist situation. We're going to need to move this table.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So we're just going to move it towards the middle. Let's try and get it sideways. No, it's okay. So we just need this there, and we'll move this down here. Okay. So this is just an activist and a man who is, well, you'll very clearly see the problems. As we did before, watch the body language, watch the aggression, and go from there.
I'm going to use this as a prop. It is not a statement on your party.
You're the ones peddling this rubbish. Oh, you're great. You again. What? Just back off. I don't want to deal with your antics today.
I don't want to deal with this, but you won't stop bloody putting them through my letterbox.
If you don't want it, throw it in the bin. Calm down, for Pete's sake. This is ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I'll show you ridiculous, you slimy little...
Right, that's it. I'm calling the police. You damn piece. Okay, and like that, it ends quite quickly. Obviously, in a very bad result. But what was what went wrong there?
Get it? Just like you weren't listening to each other, I guess.
Yep.
So there was no empathy. There was no like. You were both on the defensive straight away.
You could have asked him why he objected.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. So I wasn't willing to listen. We forgot to ask what the names for these two are, by the way. Any ideas?
Joe?
Joe? Tomaggio. So Joe and Tomaggio. I don't know the reference. So,
Yeah.
Joe clearly was not interested in getting any feedback from Tomaggio. Tomaggio, what was with what happened with Tomaggio?
He's not feeling listened to.
He's not feeling listened to. Yeah.
He's sort of being talked down to as soon as he gets there.
Yep. And obviously, I'm guessing Tomaggio is a member of the community, and this is his representation of this group coming in. Obviously, a terrible look anyway, and it's also terrible if you're trying to actually do good or working towards someone's liberation, and this is how they act. What else can be done? So what went wrong in terms of like, or what went bad as well? What else went bad? Sorry.
I think in this situation, much like it's very much the opposite of the previous situation, in that the onus for the kind of de-escalation falls on the dominant member, as well as the attacking member. Whereas in this situation, the onus kind of falls upon the defending member, in the fact that someone is coming and invading your space. So you have to kind of calm them down so they'll go away. Hopefully. But
Okay, we're going to do it again, and at any point, jump, stop, and take one of the rolls. Okay, ready? You're the ones peddling this rubbish. Oh great, you again. What? Look, just back off. I don't want to deal with your antics today. I don't want to deal with this. But you won't stop bloody putting this crap through my letterbox. If you don't want it, throw it in the bin. Calm down for Pete's sake. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous? I'll show you ridiculous, you slimy little... Right, that's it. I'm calling the police.
Stop.
Grab a piece of... Oh, yep. If you want to go back a bit, that's absolutely fine as well. So where just at that point of the water
The
throw?
start of the water zone.
Yep. Oh. Startle the water throw.
Don't bother me. I need my hair washed. Thank you very much.
Good to stay hydrated.
Are you listening to me? I'm asking you to stop putting this through my door.
Why don't you like me?
Well, I've asked you, you sent me that survey, and I ticked a box that said don't contact me.
But you didn't put your address on the form or your postcode, so how do we identify you and your house?
Look,
I'm sorry, but if you can't fill in the details so that we can not send you on material, we'll keep sending you. Please help us.
look, what do I need to fill out so that you stop?
Just put your postcode on the bottom of the next form that we send you and tick the no box, and we'll take you off the list, sir.
Fine. There.
Thank you. You won't hear any more from us. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. So, obviously getting splashed isn't always the objective, and that was really a nice sort of de-escalating complete. Did that take the power from you?
Yeah.
Reversal of a very violent act of, and everything. That was really quite powerful. How did it feel for you?
It felt a better strategy than threats, because threats don't work. They just make the situation worse. But that's what the action you took is what society would like us to do. That's what's the acceptable route, is to call the police.
Yeah.
But to actually stand there and try and humour the situation is far better.
Definitely. And it was one of the things that we kind of, when we were making this, we were like, ultimately it has to end in phoning the police, because that's very applicable today, and we need to make sure that situations don't go to that point. And that's really nice that you picked up on that. Anything else in terms of that?
It was very disarming when you paid a compliment to him, because it's just so expected, you know. People just generally respond well to it, like just being sincere, and yeah, it's very hard to stay mad at someone who's just told you to have a nice day.
Anything else?
I think something I'd add is not everyone wants to be persuaded.
Yeah.
You know, I think what really worked there was you gave me a very simple way out where I wouldn't have to, you know, sit and listen and try to understand ideas that I was not willing to. Instead, you provided a very simple way of removing it as a problem for my character, and by extent for your character, because
you can't force someone to change. So the best point then is just to disengage, and disengage in a way that you both feel good about.
Exactly, and you know, it also, you've not undermined the complete. You've actually probably reinstilled trust there, that you know, you're a decent person here. You're trying to do something good, and you're not being an antagonist in this person's life. It's just, you know, I think on time of reflection, which is another thing in de-escalation, which I completely forgot to add to this. Very sorry. Leaving someone time to reflect on this. 9 times out of 10, that person will probably come back, say, "Okay, I shouldn't have thrown the water at you. I'm very sorry," or at least feel bad about doing it. But like you taking that non-aggressive stance really worked very brilliantly there. Okay, so we're gonna. Does anyone want to try it from the other side? No? Yep.
I'm now Biden. So you're Joe and I'm Biden.
I have to deal with this a lot.
At least you didn't choose Donald Trump.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oi, you! Are you the one putting this stuff through my door?
You again.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Look. Can you just back off, okay? I don't want to deal with these antics today.
Well, I mean, I think it's a perfectly reasonable question. You're putting this shit through my door, and I want it to stop right now, you know? This loony leftist nonsense.
Okay, if you don't want it, throw it in the bin.
Well, what do you think I've been doing? But you keep on sending them.
Well, I don't know where you live, do I? I send out loads of them.
Oh, you say you don't know where I live, right? But you must know where I live, and you keep on sending them to me.
No, I don't. I genuinely don't. Which area do you live?
Well, you think I'm going to tell you that?
Okay, well, I can't solve your problem here. Throw them in the bin, and you won't be bothered. Okay?
Unbelievable. The cheek.
Okay, so while you didn't throw water at me, what was sort of different in that response? Do you think?
I don't know, you sort of tried to answer it in a little bit.
Yeah.
There was still quite a lot of friction, but you were just sort of saying without that information you couldn't solve that. But there was also still the, and I think maybe saying back off, it might be a bit defensive.
Yeah.
Like, it might be better just to take a step back yourself.
Definitely.
Yeah, people don't like being told what to do.
Definitely.
And also, yeah, when people do get asked questions that are quite personal, like where's your address and where do you live, like they get a bit antsy about that too.
Really true, yeah. Really true. Like, I think that's also that sense of like, you also had a lot, you were coming at me with a lot less aggression, so I then was able to work around that a bit more. But still, there is that onus on me to try and resolve that situation in a more peaceable way. Okay. Does anyone else want to try it? Going once? Going twice? 3 times? Okay, well, that will be the end of it. I hope this has been as fun as it has been to see me get water thrown over my face. But yeah, so to recap, calm yourself down before interacting, assess the area, appear to look as non-threatening as possible, make a personal connection, listen to them and acknowledge their feelings, find ways to find common ground and use part of your core message which both of you may agree on, and lastly, if de-escalation is not working, stop. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and the next